Joining us today is Rick McPartlin, and Rick comes to us from beautiful, sunny downtown, well, the north end, I guess, of Scottsdale. And it's summer for you guys already, and I'm glad that you could take some time to join us. But Rick, years ago, I guess you and I have been doing this for probably 15 years now. But you made a presentation to one of my tech groups some years ago, and there was an aspect to it that really resonated with me. Your expertise is in the area of revenue generation. You're the sales guy, and you help CEOs figure out how they have to play as the chief revenue officer for their organization. One of the things you talked about that really resonated with me was the process of sales, the cycle, and how where you are in the cycle really kind of depends on the sales approach you take. And the type of person who succeeds in one category may not be the one who succeeds at a different stage in the process. And I wanted to just revisit that, if you would. So maybe just talk to me a little bit about how you see that evolution occurring and where you got that thought process from.
Well, great question. And I appreciate the opportunity, because I always love coming up to your groups and had some wonderful experiences. And for 10 years, half our business or more was in Canada. So really appreciate it. We're talking about if people are marketing gurus, they think of a thing called diffusion of innovation curve. And it's just really a simple bell curve. And what it really does is it recognizes that in every product, every service, every industry, there are people on the left side of the curve that we think of as innovators and early adopters, and there's people on the right side of the curve that we think of as laggards. They're just not in a hurry to do something new. And so what revenue science has identified is, in addition to the fact those are true, that there's always innovators and there's always laggards, what drives it is the buyer's need for information that's in the seller's brain. And on the right side of the, let me show you what that kind of looks like. Because in the, there we go, we'll make it look even prettier. On the right side of that curve, where you see the word catalog down in that right-hand corner, today it's a catalog, or it's, you just go online and search for something. And as a buyer, I don't need any help. I don't want somebody pushing something on me that I may not need. I know everything I need to know to make a purchase. And so all I want from a seller is your product good enough? Prove to me it's good enough, and tell me what it costs, and I'll make a decision. On the left side of the curve, it's innovators and early adopters live over there in that first track. And those people are trying to solve a problem. They get up and say, I wish, I want to, I need to, I see an opportunity, but I don't know how to fix it or don't know how to capture it. So on the left side, as a seller, they want my brain. They want me to come in and help them do something that together we can do that they can't do without me. So the whole curve is about buyers recognizing how much brain they're willing to pay for. And it also changes what buyers are willing to pay. On the right-hand side, if I don't need any brain, I'm just going to pay for your stuff. And I'm going to get it as cheap as I can get it. On the left-hand side of the curve, I have to educate, and I have to train, and I have to tell stories to buyers so they see there's a world beyond what they know how to do without me. And they will pay me. They expect to pay me. Neuroscience says they demand to pay me based on the size of the problem I help them solve. And on the far left-hand side, it's actually a mathematical relationship of 10 to 1. If I help somebody solve a $5 million problem, they expect to pay me 10% of that, or $500,000. Even if it only costs me about 50 grand to fix it for them, if I don't charge them 500,000, they'll be sure I don't understand the problem. Because if I understood the problem, I wouldn't only charge 50,000. I'd be trying to charge them $1 million maybe. So the curve is really about recognizing, and tech companies are very much on the left-hand side of the curve. They almost always are people who bring value, have intellectual property, creative process, best practice. They're experts in a space. And so they need to both teach the buyer what it's about, but that extends to, and this is, Paul, a piece that most people miss, is I not only have to talk to you about the problem I help you solve, but since you've never been able to solve it, you don't know how to monetize solving it. So part of my job is to help you understand, preview what your world will look like after you solve the problem. And a simple way to kind of flush this out, because we don't want to spend all day talking about this, is, but on the right side of the curve, the buyer focuses on stuff, operations, and what. On the left side, they focus on brain, vision, and why. And in the middle, it's about specifications and deployment and how. You'll notice, if you're familiar with the Simon Sinek why, how, what, yes, you see that go across the curve. So the right side, if you're in a business that lives on the right side, you're managing transactions, price, and availability. If you're in a business that's on the left-hand side, you're in the thought leadership. Your world is about delivering monetizable value to the buyer that monetizes cash, or could monetize safety. In this environment we're in right now, safety and risk reduction are big, but the other one that's big right now, you and I were talking about before we went on camera, is speed. If I've got something that will help you come out of this virus economy fast and powerful, that's important, and people are willing to pay for that. That's a quick overview.
Well, Rick, it's very, very insightful, and intriguing how you connected it to Simon Sinek's Golden Circle, and the focus on why, and really you can make a living on the what side of the equation. You just got to understand what it is that's driving it, and on that far right side, it's all about price and logistics, nothing more than that. That's the only thing that differentiates you. So don't put a really super salesman on that thing, because it doesn't make any difference. But on the left-hand side, don't put a commodities guy over there, or you'll never make a transaction.
Absolutely. And the left-hand side is salespeople are much more listeners, teachers, and consultative. And on the right-hand side, they're just a replacement for video. And, so today, the integration of digital to help teach, train, and on the right-hand side, literally sell. There's this massive change. And the virus thing we're going through right now, in my opinion, has moved technologies 2 to 5 years ahead of where they'd have been without the virus. And so that we're now today, we're all comfortable with doing Zoom, just like you and I are right now. And I have so many of my friends that their last 2 or 3 doctor's appointments have been video doctor's appointments. And my daughter, when she takes her kids to the emergency room, she sits in her car until they text her to now come in a side door where you don't take the kids through the waiting room with all kinds of sick people and adding another one to it. The world's changed. And understanding that curve and recognizing what the buyer's frame of reference is, they want either brain or they want stuff, and how you organize your team, including selling and marketing team and delivery team, around that's critical today.
Rick, we've run out of time. I could do this all day with you, so thanks very much for this. And your insights, wonderful. And I know that anybody who's going to watch this is in business is going to come away saying, I learned something, and it's going to help me sharpen my axe as I'm out in the field today. So thanks very much for taking the time.
Thanks, Paul. Great to talk to you.
Great to talk with you. Rick McPartlin, the founder of the Revenue Game, and his pursuit of turning CEOs into Chief Revenue Officers. Rick, thanks very much.